All right, guys, in this interview, I'm going to be talking to Terry Swanson, who is a very skilled technician in hyperbaric therapy. She has been doing this for some years, and hyperbaric therapy is very new to a lot of people. It's very new to me, certainly, when I first heard about it this year. And it is a form of treatment that a lot of people are not aware of. And this can be done for people, this can definitely be done for dogs. And this is what Terry's going to be talking about in the following interview. So stay tuned. She's got some very interesting things to talk about, how it works. It's very scientific. There's actual data to support the use of hyperbaric therapy. So you're going to enjoy this interview. All right, Terry, thank you very much for doing the interview with me. I really appreciate your time. And I know that the information that you're going to give the audience is going to be very, very beneficial. I want to tell you first, I never heard of hyperbaric therapy until this year. And it's something that I've found a lot of people in the working dog community have not heard about hyperbaric therapy. So if you don't mind telling us, a little bit about yourself and a little bit about hyperbaric therapy, that way kind of to catch everybody up to speed.
Okay. My name is Terry Swanson. I'm the co-owner of a company called All Creatures Hyperbaric Care. We started our journey almost 14 years ago to bring this modality to the small animal community. It was being used in the racehorse industry and the equine industry for probably 10 years prior to us being able to start it in the small animal community. And
Okay.
as we all know, with hyperbarics, any animal or entity that breathes oxygen can benefit from the use of hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
And now, if you were to, describe it to some people, you talked about oxygen and how it's been used in the equine industry. Um, what is it that takes place in the chamber, and what are some of the benefits that that an animal can experience as a result of this?
So every cell in the body requires oxygen to survive. So what hyperbarics does is it's oxygen under pressure. At this atmosphere that we are at, we are breathing 21% oxygen. Our red blood cell side is, 95 to 99% saturated at this level. When we add pressure, which we consider barometric pressure of pressure, we can change from the hemoglobin side to the white cell side or to the plasma side. Plasma can carry 22 times more oxygen than your red blood cell side can. At this atmosphere that we're at, atmospheric pressure, which is 17.5, your plasma side's only carrying just a few oxygen molecules. When we increase that by double to our average treating depth is 2.2 atmospheres, the animals are actually 22 times more oxygen to their cells in their body.
Okay. Now, I know when I brought Russ to you, you mentioned some of the benefits regarding stem cells. You said it boosts stem cell production by what percentage again?
On the stem cells, it's dependent on the number of treatments that you're at. When Rustum was with us at 5 hyperbaric sessions, he probably had about 30 times more stem cells in his body. By the time they reach 30 hyperbaric sessions, you're up to 200 times more.
Let's see.
On the
Now,
on
yeah,
the human.
go.
It would be 15 for animals, would be up to 200, because animals respond 2 times faster to hyperbaric oxygen therapy than we do as humans.
Interesting. Now, on the human side, it's also used for humans. And what are some of the applications that the hyperbaric pressure is used for humans?
So there's 13 indications in the U.S. In other countries, 50 indications for the use of hyperbaric oxygen. The number one thing it's used for in humans is wound care. Helps break down the bioburden to help get infections under control, and helps to heal from the inside outward. And number one thing, but there are 14 indications for injury, crush injury, any type of burn. That's also indication. In humans, they also use anesthesia. Insults include loss of hearing and sudden blindness. Those are an indication for hyperbarics. Carbon monoxide poisoning is an indication for humans. Trying to think what else. But as far as treatment on the animal side, is any inflammatory process going on in the body, hyperbarics addresses.
And this is also very scientific, right? It's not like you can find a whole lot of skepticism about this and go, well, I don't think it works, or I think it's just all in your head type of thing. These are actual studies. There's actual data on the use of hyperbaric therapy, right? I mean, could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I know that, people can say, yeah, cold laser, it's still kind of experimental, and people can say other things about even chiropractic care and even acupuncture. People can say, well, it's kind of experimental. Although, there are plenty of cases where people and animals have gotten better from those treatments. But with hyperbaric therapy, I can almost foresee somebody thinking, well, is it real? Is it legit? Can you talk a little bit about the actual studies, the data, with us, obviously as much information as you can recall on this type of therapy for the skeptics?
Yeah. So on PubMed, which is, of course, a government entity that publishes studies, there is over 4,000 studies for hyperbaric oxygen therapy that are peer-reviewed studies. They're not just somebody wrote a study and it got published. These are actually reviewed by other scientists. And there's over 4,000 of them on PubMed alone.
So this is definitely basically skeptic proof. The numbers are there. The data is there, and it's not just a bunch of let's cross our fingers and hopefully this works. This is actually backed up by by studies, peer-reviewed studies.
Correct.
Nice, very nice. Now, go ahead.
More and more applications for hyperbarics. Getting it through a published study is very, very expensive and very, very time consuming. So there is a lot of anecdotal information about hyperbarics, but proof is in the pudding, and that's what we tell people when they come in. A lot of people don't have all this advanced diagnostics for their animal when they come in for treatment. And we say to see is, do you see positive results in 3 to 5 sessions? We're not talking 6 months down the road. Do you see something positive? Do you see something positive within the 3 to 5 sessions? And then we hone the therapy to keep those positive actions happening with the oxygen.
Now, what are some, and I know when I was bringing Russ to you, for his therapy sessions, I know we talked, but if you could tell us some of the most miraculous treatments or responses or results that you have personally overseen with hyperbaric therapy so that the audience can hear about some of this stuff?
Well, I'd have to say a working dog from Lampasas, Texas by the name of Bo, who was sent to us approximately a week and a half after injury, with the surgeon insisting to amputate a crush injury wound on a hind leg.
Mm-hmm.
Felt that was going to end the dog's career, and he felt that he needed to search out something else. And he sought out us to
Mm-hmm.
try. And when I unwrapped that leg and took one look at it, I was like going, okay, we will know in 30 minutes if hyperbarics is going to help. And we left the leg unwrapped in the chamber and watched it turn from a dusty, musty, horrible color to bright pink within 30 minutes. We knew that there was a hope to save the microcirculation in the leg. And to this day, Bo is up and running and working and going to competitions. And we did document that case
Mm-hmm.
there. And he was with us for 45 days.
Mm-hmm. It was
But
bad. I remember you showed me the picture, and what people don't realize is there was no skin on that leg. It was like the skin was completely gone. It was just
right,
muscle and bone.
it was what they call a degloving crush injury. So it
And the
actually,
crazy thing is when you show me the pictures, to see each treatment, the skin just come back with each treatment, the pictures that you took, and to see the before and after go from there is no skin whatsoever to it looks as though nothing really had happened. That was very impressive. That's how I actually heard about you and hyperbaric therapy, because I know the owner of that dog. His daughter is a client of mine, and that's how I heard about you, and that's what got me interested in finding out more about this type of therapy. What are some other things that you have been part of that to you used to seeing crazy improvement? Because some of the stuff you told me when you were telling me this, I was like, wow, that's impressive. But to you, because you do it so regularly, to you it's almost like routine. So what are some things that besides that case, what are some other cases or some other uses of hyperbaric therapy that the average person can't even begin to think would be helpful for their situation?
well, stroke has got to be one of the most devastating things to happen to a human being, but it
Mm-hmm.
also in our dogs. And we've had several stroke dogs come in to us. And, you have to understand most of the clients that come to us are people that can't afford all the advanced imaging. They have to turn down standard of care to be sent to us.
Mm-hmm.
So get all the bells and whistles as far as complete diagnostics on them, but symptomatically paralysis on the front end, can't move, um, can't swallow properly, can't chew, droopy faces. We have seen them go in the chamber and come back out starting to walk within 3 to 5 days. We've also had TBI with
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I say this right, with a anoxic brain injury, which means that a piece of the brain had complete lack of oxygen and has actually died. It's
Mm-hmm.
an brain injury resulting from a TBI. We had a dog come in that was completely basically paralyzed in a fetal position, which is curled all the way up from her head to her tail. She cannot straighten. Uh, and even the first treatment, we noticed her relaxing a little bit on that. But by treatment number 4, she was able to be straight. She couldn't walk at that stage. But by the time we reached treatment 7, she was actually able to walk, eat on her own. The vet gave them no hope other than trying hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And she, to this day, looks like a normal dog. And I think we did 15 sessions on her. I mean, if you just think of the ramifications of them doing that on a human, no harm therapy. Yes, the people operating the machine and the equipment need to know what they're doing. But what we see, it's just such a shame it's not applied a lot more on the human side. And we understand on the veterinary side, there's not a lot of companies like us. Well, I think we're the only company in the world, actually, that does this outside of a hospital situation.
Well, the other thing too is, you know, not to get too political or conspiracy theory-ish about it, but we both know, you know this very well, and I think most people that have some understanding of how the system works, and I hate to say it like that, but because it does sound like we're talking about conspiracies here, but the reality is that, you know, the pharmaceutical companies, the medical industry in general, the more money they make is on the maintenance of the sick person, the maintenance of the sick animal. Like, actually healing is not popular.
Yeah.
The healing is not convenient. So to come up with a therapy like this that you know, that requires, yes, a skilled technician, the right equipment, and go, yes, you know, look what it does to the person, to the animal. And like you said, there are a lot more indicators in, you know, outside of the US, which means in other countries outside the US, they can use it for more things, versus in the US, it's like only like a number of things where it's acceptable to use the you know, the hyperbaric therapy protocol. Right. I mean, this is something that you've you know, that we talked about, right?
Yes. And but also the other thing we have to remember is the society. We are in a society that's driven by one pill. Trying to get a stay on point for 60 hyperbaric sessions for a human is 4 hours out of their day, 5 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, they'd rather take a pill. You know, I mean, I just can't imagine choosing to lose a limb over, you know, 4 hours of my day. I mean, I did 30 hyperbaric sessions for Lyme's disease, and it out of my day to be gone 4 hours. Well, no, on the commitment to bring Russ, you had to, you know, you were a minimum of 4 hours out of your day was gone, you know. So I do see that being a problem with hyperbarics. I think if it was readily more available, where you only had to go 20 minutes down the road, pop them in the chamber, have a cup of coffee, go make some errands, and pick them back up, I think we would see more animals getting hyperbarics, which Susan and I have always been so sure that what we're doing in the animal side will someday trickle down on the human side, especially the stroke. Susan lost her husband to a stroke, and there was he was the #2 pilot for Continental, and he was being treated at a hospital that had a hyperbaric chamber right underneath him, and that option was never offered to her. But we didn't know about hyperbarics back then. And you know what we see now, it you know, and what we watched Jim go through was just, you know, it's just devastating that that there was a good possibility that we could have stopped the egregious stroke. I mean, dead tissue is dead tissue. We can't bring dead tissue back to life, but you can route around that, especially the brain and the neurological stuff that we see.
Now, tell us a little bit about the snake bite protocol.
So we have a snake bite protocol. Again, a lot of animals that come to us can't afford standard of care. The average cost on a snake bite is $2,500, $4,000 for anti-venom. Anti-venom always has to be the first resort. And we lost a dog, I think the same week Rustum was in, that the people could not afford the anti, even one dose of anti-venom. But the other ones that we have worked with, including 3 of our own, we didn't use anti-venom, and we had no tissue loss, and it was only 3 hyperbaric sessions spaced 4 hours in between. So that is a protocol that we have worked on for almost 10 years.
And you've done this multiple times. Obviously, this is not like you tried it one time to see how it worked. This is something that you guys have experience with.
Probably about 40 cases. I think
40 cases. That's impressive.
We've lost 2.
So out of 40 cases where people brought their dogs, their animals that got bit by snakes, you did this 40 times and you've only lost 2?
Yes.
That is impressive. Those are very high numbers. Very high success rate.
Yeah. I mean, that's, over a period of years. I'm not sure how many years. I think that's 3 years that we've been been using that protocol.
Okay. So let's say somebody wanted to look into this and go, well, hyperbaric therapy seems great. Obviously, the first thing that we're going to recommend is that they find you. They find you and your partner, your company. You guys are very skilled. But let's say, some of our audience that is not in Texas, they're somewhere in a different part of the U.S., maybe in a different part of the world. What are some things that they should look for, other than just doing a Google search? Because you and I talked about it takes skill on the part of the technician. It takes the right equipment, obviously, but having the right equipment, not having the right technician, that could be problematic. So what are some things that somebody could do to screen and to make sure that they are getting the right technician, the right place, the right facility for hyperbaric therapy?
Well, most other facilities are veterinary based clinically. So you're moving into what we call clinical hyperbarics. Then most of them are using hard chambers, the blow up chambers. The efficacy behind their use is just not there. There are some TBI studies going on with that, but if they offer that for your pets, that would be the last thing I would do for sure, because that's just not gonna help. I did have a veterinarian come in and tell me there was a company in Austin that is offering hyperbarics for you and your pet at the same time. And I'm like going, okay, this I'm not liking at all. So if it doesn't make sense, call someone. We are available to talk. I don't care if you're going to get hyperbarics from a company, another company. I'm not going to downplay them if I think they're safe. If I think they're not safe, I am going to tell you they're not safe. There is an entity that is registering, hyperbaric veterinary technicians. But I don't know a lot about them. Since we were operating before those entities came into part, we're not part of them. But just check credentials. Some people are going to have credentials, but equipment wise, for animals, it doesn't have to be an animal specific piece of equipment. Ours are actually repurposed human chambers, and we chose them because that we like the acrylics. We have developed protocols that we don't have trouble with our animals with them. And we understand our limitations with some of the animals with it. But definitely just do a little bit of homework, ask a few questions. What depth is my animal going to be treated at? How many have you done of these? What, just ask questions. Usually at the big clinics that have got them, they're very good at them. There's one in Miami that's at a neurosurgeon's facility. And there was one here in Central Texas, but it's no longer available. I don't know what went on with that type of situation, but just ask questions. And if you have any doubt, just call someone like us. I mean, Susan and I'd be happy to answer any questions about hyperbarics very honestly.
Well, thank you very much, Terry. I really appreciate it. I know you're treating an animal right now as we speak, so I appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions and shedding some light on something that I know a lot of people are not even aware of. So this is going to be very helpful to them. Now, one last thing, how can people find you?
Just on Facebook.
Okay, what's your Facebook page's name? If you could tell them.
All Creatures Hyperbaric Care.
Okay. And that's the best way to get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, we'll have a new website going up a little bit later next month. It's animalhyperbaricstexas.com. TX, okay. Sorry, Animal Hyperbarics TX. And we will have a new website going up with that.
Awesome. Well, Terry, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And
thank you, William.
I'll let you get back to it. Thank you.
And good luck on your journey with Rustum.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
Take care.
very welcome.